So we've heard a lot today from a lot of awesome speakers about things that you can find good use cases for and maybe good applications of messaging or chatbots. And I come from HubSpot, where there we go, where I help lead our conversational marketing, so rolling out messaging and chatbots and really thinking about the future of one-to-one communications in a B2B setting. We did something super cool. We actually use chatbots for lead generation. This is something we tested in the middle of last year and are really seeing great results. So I want to run you through what we did and why it worked. On the left, you see our traditional landing page form. If you came to a landing page at HubSpot or a lot of other B2B kind of software companies, this is pretty standard, right? A lot of stuff you got to fill out. And on the right, I'll show you kind of how we turn that into a very delightful, very conversational, and organic experience. The traditional conversion path of a B2B company, particularly in our case, is we drive people to a landing page, they scroll down, they see a form, and they fill that form out, right? And they get value on the other side. In this case, there was a webinar that we ran, and they had to kind of fill this stuff out first. But if you come to this and you look at it, you go, wow, there's a lot of stuff I have to do. This kind of sucks. You're asked to fill out 8 things at once before you get any value, any acknowledgement that we care about you. And as a consumer, it doesn't really match the way that we, as people, like to have conversations. If I was talking to any one of you, I wouldn't say 8 things to you before I expect you to respond. That would just be very weird. As humans, we love these one-to-one, back and forth, conversations with turn-taking. And we said, okay, well, we know we need to collect information, but maybe we can meet people where they spend their time in a way that feels more natural to them. So instead of pushing them to a landing page, we actually ran a Facebook ad that when they clicked it would pop up a conversation right inside Messenger. Little CTA. And when they opened it, this is kind of what it looked like. It looks at first glance, if you take your glasses off and squint a little bit, kind of like a conversation with a friend. We put a lot of emphasis on making it one-to-one, back and forth, in very natural language. One of the things is when someone says something to you, you acknowledge them, right? Like you then ask the next question. We found this idea of putting one-to-one things. We ask for one piece of information, you answer it, and then we ask for the next thing. We started saying, okay, well, that better matches the way that people like to talk to each other. And we said, okay, I think there might be something for this for a business. And when you put them side by side, the messaging side, the one on the right, feels way more natural. As a consumer, if you ask me to go talk to one of those, I'm always going to go to the messaging one on the right because that's how I like to have conversations. The conversations are a totally natural way to collect information. We have conversations with each other all the time, and we give information in those conversations, whether we really know it or not. What time are you coming home? What do you want in your pizza? Those kinds of things, we are totally used to answering those questions for when our friends and family ask them. And really, with the business, it's not all that much different. We're trained, and we have kind of acclimated ourselves to being able to hand over information with texting. It's nothing new. Okay, but it looks really cool, but we like business. We like leads. We like money. How did it go? Well, it went really, really well. We brought the cost of a lead down with Facebook Messenger 30% lower than what we'd have to pay on a landing page. This was just an easier experience for people. They didn't come and see a wall of stuff they had to do. It felt very back and forth, and they were able to build a more natural relationship with our business, and they weren't really bogged down by all the stuff we were asking them to do. And then on the flip side of that, those people who came through Messenger were 40% more likely to interact with our sales team at some point and maybe talk about buying software. What that shows is that if you build relationships with people on the right channel in a way that feels natural to them, where they're already spending their time, that's a much more delightful experience. And you're meeting them where they are, and they're much more likely to want to talk to your team at some point. And that's more of the numbers side, but qualitatively, this is super exciting. These are real comments from real people who were trying to sign up for the webinar, saying, wow, this is so cool. Check this out. You should go sign up for this. Now, I have run a lot of marketing campaigns in my day, and this is the first time I ever saw people say, signing up is fun. Signing up is exciting. It's like going to the dentist. It was something we all know needs to happen, but man, I'd never seen people really like it, and that got me excited. We talk about using conversational interfaces and messaging to get closer to our audience, our website visitors, our customers, and this is pretty true. in this experience, right, people signed up, and then we said, hey, you should check out this free software. And they knew it was a bot. We made it really clear up front. But yet we still had people saying, wow, that was amazing, and people saying, I love you. What looks really cool actually is in this middle pane here, we noticed a lot of people were saying thank you. And using the Dashbot tools, we were able to say, you know what? When a lot of people are thanking this bot. Well, if someone thanked me, I would respond and say, you're welcome. But because I'm a millennial and I ruin everything, I wouldn't use words, I'd use a GIF. And we said this might be a super awesome time, right, to introduce some rich media that makes sense for the platform. And we did just that, and it worked super well. People loved it. How can you do this? How can your business leave here today? Don't really care what you're selling, how big your team is. What actionable things can you do to really start generating leads, collecting better information, and building better relationships? First is you can add a button to your Facebook page. A lot of businesses I see don't do this enough. Just add a send to message, or add a kind of send message or get started button, so if a visitor comes to your Facebook page, they can just start chatting with you. You can put a bot behind that, you could put a human behind that, but make it easier and remove friction for people to get in touch with you. Install something like Customer Chat on your website. It's a free tool from Facebook where it's basically an on-site chat widget that lives over your website, and it makes it really easy for people to engage with you. And as soon as they start chatting, you collect some information. You're able to personalize that experience right away. Use CTAs. Platforms like Messenger do a great job of giving you different ways to get people into your bot. If you have a blog with a lot of traffic, maybe throw a CTA on there to get them to chat with you about something specific. Maybe you have a big email list. You should be leveraging the channels and the ways you already drive traffic in business, and you can kind of supplement them with these messaging platforms. My favorite expression is 1 + 1 = 3, because when you use all of these channels together, you get amazing results. Run a send a messenger campaign too. That's what we did for this webinar back in the fall, and we made it really easy for people to talk to a business in a one-to-one way. People aren't really shy or scared to talk to businesses through messaging platforms. It's not something they're worried about. I promise you this is a very underutilized space right now. So you can use chatbots and messaging platforms to generate more, better quality leads for less money. I'm Connor Cirillo. Thank you, guys.
I think we have time for one quick question for Connor.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I had a question about the one-to-one form thing specifically. When I go to a web form, yeah, it sucks if there's 8 things, but I know there's only 8 things. When I start a conversation, I don't know how much work you're going to want from me. How do you deal with that sort of concern up front?
Set expectations early on of kind of frame of what stuff you're collecting. So in our case, through testing, we said, oh, we should probably tell them, hey, I need to collect a little information about you and your business before you can sign up. So set expectations early on. Also, you can use like cues inside the messaging stuff itself to let people know where they are. Something simple of, awesome, Kevin, we're halfway done. Only 3 more questions. You can really use language and copy to kind of ease people and let them know really what they can expect from the experience. But definitely be upfront. You don't need to list out everything, but tell them generally what they can expect. Again, people aren't worried about giving information related to their business. We're asking things like their company size. But using copy, you can really tie a story together of why you're asking for that stuff and make it clear of kind of when this is about to be over.
Connor, and we have one quick gift before you head off the stage.
Wow.
A pair of socks.
Yes. Yes, thank you.